bike day. I'm really excited to announce my new bike, which I'll be riding probably for the next few years. Yeah, I'm excited to tell you that this is my new Alchemy Arktos 29. So once I stopped riding my e-bike and got back on my good old Specialized Enduro, I just started realizing how small it was compared to the XL e-bike being on that large. So yeah, that's why I'm running the Alchemy, and you know, it's really exciting for me to be working with a cool company like them. I don't see a lot of Alchemies on the trail, and so it's just really cool to be showing off this bike at different places, and hopefully I can give their brand a bit more well known around the world, you know, since I have an international follow viewership, and you know, just show off this bike and show you guys what it can do. So far I've really been loving the bike. I think that the suspension is amazing, and just the way that the geometry reacts to different stuff coming out of steep berms and steep turns and G-outs, just how the bike stands up under that and keeps traction is really amazing. So anyways, I thought I would get into the build that we have here. This is the Arktos 29 XL, and it's the Shimano XT build. So we've got the Shimano XT drivetrain, that is the older one with the 11 to 46 cassette. It's an 11 speed. You know, we have this XT derailleur, which you can't see very well. And we've got the XT cranks already getting a little bit of that crank rub in there. And then we got the standard chain. I am running my favorite, my standard race face Chester pedals. They do really well. They have 8 pins on each side, and yeah, they're, you know, nylon composite pedals. I don't feel bad if I smash them into stuff. I feel like it would be cool to run a pair of metal pedals, but I just worry about scratching them up and having them look really ugly. These things actually, they clean up pretty well. They're a little scuffed right now, but they, you know, the scratches don't really show. So yeah, it's a cool thing. So I don't know what order people usually do this in. I'm just going this way. We have the factory Fox DPX2 full Kashima, which I really appreciate. The shock works really well. I've got the rebound set about in the middle, and then I think it's like 12 clicks, so I've got it towards 6 clicks, and then we've got the compression over on the other side. We've got that set probably at 7 clicks from open, so just about almost all the way firm there. I got my sag. Alchemy recommends 30%, which contrasts against Fox recommending for this shock 20%, so I'm running about 27 to 30% of sag in here, which is about 210 or 215 psi. I can't really get it exact with the psi, and you know, shock pumps are all over the place. So alright, well, continuing on, we have this Fox Factory 36 Kashima. It's a 160 fork, and it's got that Grip 2 goodness right up here, and you know, the customization is actually a bit nerve-wracking at times, just getting this thing set up to where it feels good. Fox has a really good baseline recommendation on their website, and I've got it running really close to that right now. So I think I'm running about, I can't remember the PSI honestly, but I'll just tell you I'm running what is my recommended for my weight, recommended on the Fox website, and I weigh about 200 pounds. Other than that, we've got Maxxis tires up front and in the rear. We've got the DHR2, and we've got the DHF 2.5 and 2.4. So I'm going to get a thicker casing eventually. I feel these guys squirming around a little bit, but you know, it makes do, it manages. And then we've got these DT Swiss M1700 straight pull spoke wheels. They're really stiff, they're really good. Not carbon. One of these days I'll get some carbon wheels, but they're seeming to work out really well for me. I've got Shimano 2-piston XT brakes. That's the M8000 series. Definitely gonna look to upgrade to the 4-piston, either the new XT stuff or the older 8100 4-piston stuff, just for more stopping power. You know, this is stopping, it stops well, but I just being a bigger guy and going really fast, I mean, I think I go fast at least, going faster and whatnot, I just want that added power. And then up on the cockpit, we've got these ergon grips. I don't know what they're called. I heard really good stuff about these grips, and that's what came stock, so I'm running them. I don't know what they're called. Probably put on some ODI Pro Elite after these wear out, but I really like them for now. We've got the Fox Transfer Kashima dropper. It's only 125 mil, so I'm gonna be looking to upgrade that eventually, just because of how tall I am, how much post I have sticking out here. And paired with that is a really sweet race face lever. I've used the Fox Transfer lever before and just really not liked it. It's got a really small thing, so I was gonna throw a wolf tooth on here, but I'm happy with this remote. It obviously doesn't have the bearing, so it's not as smooth as the wolf tooth, but it works good enough for me. I'm not extremely picky about the lever, I just want that big thumb space. It has a good grip on it. I like how the grip is similar to the one on my shifter and the one on my brakes. You know, I like all that grip. When it's wet, it's really nice, or when your hands are sweaty if you're not wearing gloves, or, you know, if there's any sort of situation where you need to get a hold of it, then it just makes it a lot easier. Alright, what we're running here up on the seat is a WTV Volt. It's a good one. Usually I run these big, comfortable saddles, and this came stock on the bike. I've been using it, obviously not as comfortable as the big comfort saddle, but I'm just using it. You know, seat's pretty small, stays out of the way of my knees when I'm trying to throw around manuals and jumps and whatnot. I was really bothered by the bigger saddle because I just felt it getting in my way all the time. So I'd been planning on moving to a saddle like this, or one of the ergons, or one of the specialized ones. This is just what came, so I'll keep using this until I figure out what fits better. Yeah, anything else that I forgot to mention? Oh yeah, up in the cockpit we've got the race face turbine R. It's an aluminum bar. I think it's probably a 780 mil length, and you know, the rise maybe 15 mil. I don't like a riser bar very much. I just get my stack of the stem set up correctly. I've still got two spacers on there, so I'll probably try sticking that up a little higher eventually, and we'll see how that improves my riding in the steeps. As for the fork, you know, I've got that set up pretty stiff, so I'm not bottoming out every time I hit a steep hill. So I'm liking how it is sort of race bike feel right now, and it's working really well for me. I'm getting good times on the tracks, keeping up with fast guys, so yeah, really happy with it. Stem is a 50 mil, I believe, maybe a 40 mil. I'm sorry, I'm not super good at the specs. This must be a crazy video, but I think it's a 40 mil stem, and you know, people put on shorter stems. Being 6'4", 6'5", I don't really mind the longer stem because I don't want to be squished into the bike. That's pretty much why I had to get an XL bike, is because I was squished on my Enduro and I just couldn't make the seat higher, I couldn't make the stem any longer. I had the seat so high that when I dropped it on the dropper, it was getting in the way of my chest when I'm getting my weight back. And so I'm just trying to keep the bike long and, you know, ready for a big guy. Other than that, I'm running about 30 PSI in the rear tire and about 27 up front. Just probably be able to get that lower when I get a thicker compound, maybe a double down or a DH casing in the rear, and that's just gonna stiffen up the bike for me. Other than that, my initial thoughts are that this bike is really stiff, it's really good, it works really well. The rear end is very, very just compliant, it sticks to the ground. And then really I've been sort of noticing how well the shock and the geometry just helps me get off the ground as well. So yeah, I think that's all that I have for the bike check. As you can see, I'm wearing my sombrero, I'm really sweaty, it's about 100 degrees out here, and I'm just trying to enjoy my last week of summer, hiding in the house and trying to go on rides really early. So we're gonna have some more videos. We'll get a third person eventually of me ripping around on this thing, but just for now, expect some more GoPro stuff, hopefully I'll be posting more. Yeah, life's a little crazy. But yeah, maybe next video I'll do a bit more riding, some more talk about my health. But guys, it's been a year since I was in the hospital and I'm doing really well, so I'm really thankful for the support that I've been getting from that. And yeah, thank you guys for being there. I will keep making videos if you keep watching them. Alright.